Well, hello, friends, and welcome to my daily diary segment. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here, and I want to tell you what I did from Saturday, September 6th through Tuesday, September 9th of 2025. On Saturday the 6th, I was up in Port Chester, New York, visiting with my family, visiting with my mom there, who is getting stronger and stronger temporarily at assisted living and hopefully to come home very soon. And so visiting with her most of that day. I did do some work at our home in the morning, the home where I grew up, and was in touch with staff via email and was doing some various preparations of projects for them, of photos to post on our website, of videos we have to prepare. I also did some work in filling out an application, or rather a response form for a big event I'm taking part in April for National Reading of the Bible, and getting ready for, I did some work there at the house that needed to be done, and rearranging some things and finding some things that my mom needed and things like that. So after doing some work there, went over to the assisted living, visited with her, and did that the rest of the day. Had to make some checking in on emails and phone calls as the day went on, but had lunch and dinner there, and good session of visiting. Sunday, September 7th, in the morning, I went to my home parish. It's actually now one parish that was made out of four, and went to the 7:30 Mass there, and then did a little bit more work at home on a number of things I had to get ready for the staff and for the work of Priests for Life, and also did some work on preparing for the upcoming leadership meeting, the National Pro-Life Leaders who come together under our organizational auspices, and did that. Then went over to the assisted living facility, visited with my mom, and we had, of course, I see my brother on these occasions as well, and we had some good family visits and meals and conversation. And also I did a couple of those videos that you have seen on my social media with my mom, where she gives a little update and tells some stories and thanks you for your prayers. So that was Sunday the 7th, again, spending most of the time there visiting. Monday the 8th, same thing. I was up in Port Chester, did some work at the house first before going over to see my mom, and caught up on a lot of things, had a lot of, caught up with the staff briefing, had a lot of things to tell the staff, and set them on their tasks for the day. And then headed over to the assisted living facility around 9:15 or so, and accompanied my mom to the occupational therapy and various other things we had to do there. And all that went very well. I had meals over there and more time visiting, and also checking in with my staff, being that it was a Monday. Many more of them had to speak to me as the day went on, and so went back and forth between communicating with them and visiting with her. After dinner, then in the evening, I went back to the house, did some work there, and at 9:30 p.m. had a conference call about Silent No More, a Zoom call, and it involved some of our regional coordinators in California and preparations for the January Walk for Life out there. And that call then, as I say, took place late that night. But then I had to get up very early the next morning, and at about 4 in the morning, returned the rental car to the nearby airport, White Plains Airport, not too far from the house, and got on a plane to go to Washington, D.C. So usually what I do is do some work on the laptop, checking in preparatory work on emails while I'm waiting in the terminal, and while I'm flying on the plane, and while I'm in the car, getting from the airport in D.C. over to our office, which is right behind the Supreme Court. Did all of that. Flight was on time, fortunately, arrived in the early in the morning. And once I got to the DC office, I had a work session with our staff person who covers the DC office. We did some work together, and then at 11 a.m. I had a national conference call with the Abortion Recovery Coalition. We are members of that coalition because of all the work we do for healing people after abortion. That call went from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. At 12 noon, right at that point, finishing the abortion recovery call, I began leading a meeting of the board of the National Pro-Life Religious Council, of which I serve as the president and CEO. A number of the members came in person. We walked down to the street, got some lunch. We had a working lunch. And then at 1 o'clock, we brought in some additional members of the board who could not join us in person but could join us on Zoom. And they did. And we had a good conversation from 1 to 2 o'clock doing business for the National Pro-Life Religious Council. At 2 o'clock, as soon as that meeting finished, right there in my Washington office, I had a 1-hour meeting with a reporter whom I know there in Washington, D.C., and we discussed various things pertaining to politics and the pro-life movement. That meeting went very well. And then once I finished with that meeting, I worked a little bit more with our office staffer there in D.C., and then we together went over to a nearby hotel, slightly different part of town, where the pro-life leaders were gathering, where our executive director and some of our other staff were already gathered for the quarterly meeting of pro-life leaders known as the 115 Forum. We got together and got everything ready for that. But then before the evening hospitality session started with them, I had to do one more thing. I took an Uber over to the United States Capitol, and there connected with David Barton and his crew from Wall Builders, and they were having one of their national clergy briefings. It was so wonderful to get together with pastors from all around the country, and they allowed me, as they regularly do, to briefly address these pastors, tell them about our work, give them some of our materials, update them about some of our projects that they could be involved in, and advise them as to how their churches could more effectively address the abortion issue. It was very encouraging, so spent some time with them, spent some time listening to Congressman Loudermilk, who was there and helped to organize the evening event at the Capitol. But then I left them before they went on their Capitol tour with David Barton. I went back to the hotel where the pro-life leaders were gathered and interacted with all of them for a few hours into the late evening, because that's the event that we coordinate. So it was the evening hospitality, many great conversations with various pro-life leaders from across the country and across the spectrum of the pro-life movement. And that's what I did from the 6th to the 9th of September. 2025. I hope your work is going well. Thank you for supporting ours. Let's continue fighting hard for the unborn and for an end to abortion. Thanks for watching.
Hi, everybody. My name is Father Rick Heilman, Father Richard Heilman, and I have been a fan of Priests for Life. Well, I am full on in pro-life ministry, all my priesthood, but it really revved up when I was put in contact with Priests for Life and the inspiration of Father Frank Pavone and everything that they're doing. I said earlier that they have really inspired everyone else to really get in the fight. And I just encourage you to be a part of Priests for Life. Please, they've done so much good over so many years. They continue to do great good. We are going to be a pro-life nation. I believe that with all my heart. And I believe that Priests for Life have gone a long way to get us in the place that we are finally on that doorstep of being pro-life once again.
Follow him, Frank Pavone, Fr. Frank Pavone. He is the National Director of Priests for Life. Please go to priestsforlife.org.
Frank Pavone. Frank, thank you very much.